Hello, boys and girls, or hello, boys and girl. That's probably a more accurate representation of the channel's viewer demographic. But why am I using that intro? Because in this video, I get to talk to Kristian Kohle of Kohle Studio and Kohle Audio Cult. He visited 42 Gear Street on Saturday this year. I was there, and of course, I had to take the opportunity to have a conversation with him and film it and record that. So we went to the Gravity Grotto. I borrowed an Insta360 camera from the guys, Sennheiser wireless mics. And thankfully, the footage came out nice. It came out okay. The guys have a reputation of losing interview footage, so Michiel tells me. Anyway, I digress. In this video, I get the chance to talk to Kohle on how he got started on YouTube, what sparked his interest in speakers and all of that, and of course, the Karnivore. So, enjoy. 42 Gear Street 7. How's it going? I'm still winging it at 42 Gear Street, and Kristian Kohle is here today. And of course, I had to grab the opportunity to have a little conversation with him. Henning's provided us with this 360-degree camera and some microphones. I'm sure it'll go well, and if not, I'll just be an ungrateful little prick and blame him for everything. But yeah, Kristian Kohle from Kohle Audio Cult, many other creative endeavors, Mr. Chuga Chuga Dengel Dengel and Gong Gong Gong. I always like the mouth noises you use to describe.
Yeah. For the lack of better, proper words, so to say. But very happy to be here with you. I always enjoy your content. Very nerdy stuff as well.
Likewise.
We both enjoy nerding into speakers, especially, right? And having fun with Chuga Chuga, Dengel Dengel, Gash Gash.
Yeah, that works. No, well, that's the perfect segue to my opening question, because you kind of started a lot of this content. I first saw you years ago on the URM channel, and then you started your own channel with stuff like speaker videos and things like that, which kind of opened the door to probably a larger extent for the kind of stuff that I do now. And I think that's very cool, for one thing. And the other thing is, I always wondered, how did you get into that? How did you get started in the first place? Because the first videos I saw from you on that other channel, they were already really dialed in, like super presentation, production, no awkwardness, nothing. So I've been really wondering, how did you get started? Was that really the first thing you did, YouTube-wise, or is there a dark past I don't know of?
Not really. So I have been a metal producer my entire life. And then I happened to be one of the producers that were invited to what they call Nail the Mix at the URM Academy. So I think every month a producer shows how he mixed a certain record, and they invited me to show how I mixed a record or a song from the band Aborted, death metal music. And after doing that, they asked me, hey, do you want to do YouTube videos? And I remember, like, wait a minute, YouTube, isn't that like for, back then, YouTube for me was maybe what TikTok is for me today. So I wasn't that interested, but they talked me into it and said, like, hey, you can do whatever you want, go for it. And for me, it was an opportunity to try stuff that I couldn't really try in the studio. Because when you're making a record, you don't have a lot of time. Nobody pays you for trying 15 different guitar speakers. So I kind of used that to get nerdy. And I just started there. And then it turned out that... And I was nervous in the beginning, because I was like, do people actually want to see the German guy talking about, nerdy stuff there?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Turned out people liked it, enjoyed it. And the channel went from, 30,000 to 80,000 in no time, really fast.
Yeah.
And at some point I decided, hey, this is fun. This is cool. Why don't I do my own thing? Because at some point there were certain limitations and stuff that I couldn't do. And it was actually Warren Hewitt who talked me into, from Produce Like a Pro, who talked me into doing my own channel. And then things just went on. Kohle Audio Cult is also an academy. That's maybe my main job today, making courses. Yeah, and that's how I kind of stumbled into this. But I can tell you that I would have never started a YouTube channel on my own if the URM guys had not forced me to do the videos, and if Warren Hewitt hadn't convinced me to do my own channel.
So lucky circumstances, knowing the right people, and the opportunity was there, and you just grabbed it and ran with it. Yeah. So you just kind of said you got to do whatever you wanted. So experimentation, that's something that has always interested you. Like, what's the difference between guitar speakers? Yeah. What part of the signal chain has most impact on the outcome, would you say?
Yes, totally.
So you... Yeah.
The thing is that I just talked about this with Jens Bogren from Bogren Digital, and who of course also is a producer. But he said like making plugins gave him the time and the opportunity to actually properly compare all his whatever 150s or rectifiers. So the cool part about making videos and about making courses is that you have way more time to nerd yourself into the details of things, which is just simply not possible if you're making records, which is still great. I still do records, but yeah, that gave me the chance to, or let's put it this way, I'm still learning a lot myself. Because I can do YouTube videos.
And learning is fun, especially if it's something you really care about.
Yeah, and you can use it then again. So now I know a lot more about guitar speakers from making videos, and that's something I can use in my productions when I record records. Yeah.
That's something I also wanted to get into, meaning that you kind of have at least 3 roles right now. You do the the Audio Cult Academy,
yes.
And then you do YouTube videos, and you're also still a producer, recording engineer, yeah. Things like that. And I always wondered, how do you split your time between these different roles? Is that something you even consciously do, or do they feed into each other? For example, when visiting microphone manufacturers, I'm sure some of the things you've learned there kind of find their way into your production and maybe later on courses. So how's a day in the life of Kristian Kohle?
Always different, and that is wonderful. I mean, the Academy certainly like asks for certain things. People expect something to happen, certain courses every month. So that is something I have to do. But otherwise, I can basically decide if I want to do a certain record, if I want to do a certain recording, if I want to go somewhere or not. And I always try to combine things. So when I am somewhere, if I'm going to whatever, LA, I'm always like, okay, what can I do here? I just went to London two weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and basically I was there to film a course for the Academy. But then it was like, hey, it's Gearfest, so why don't we go there and do a YouTube video? And then I got to know the guy from Abbey Road Mastering, so we ended up doing a little mastering session at Abbey Road. So I always try to combine everything. And this, I got to say, I'm busy, but this is just wonderful and very, very inspiring to be able to do different things. Because I actually spent 20 years in one room making records in my studio, working with a lot of great bands, but that was a little more, I wouldn't say boring, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Sounds almost like you invested that time back in the day and it's paying dividends out now because it gave you the foundational knowledge to apply elsewhere to visit. I always liked watching your videos where you're visiting microphone manufacturers, for example, because I think that's very interesting. Like the... Geez, I forgot the name now.
Austrian Audio, AEA.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, that was one of the later ones. Austrian Audio was before. I also have an Austrian Audio OC818, which is a sick mic. I think you use that for your voiceovers.
Yeah. I'm using it for a lot of things. Great microphone, very versatile mic. Desert Island kind of mic. That one and a 57. Yeah, and I can make a record, so to say, Yeah, and again, I don't know much about how you build microphones. So, I can... Being a YouTuber gives me once again the opportunity to say like, hey, Austrian Audio,
can I come
show
by?
me, tell me, how does this work?
Tell me the secrets. Yeah.
Right, and again, I'm learning, I'm passionate about this, I'm interested in this stuff. I love talking to people from the entire industry, to musicians. I just came back from Summer Breeze Open Air this weekend where I talked to musicians, I talked to guitarists about their live rigs, I'm interested, and yeah.
That's cool. It's what I kind of experienced with YouTube as well. It's kind of an excuse to play with toys. Toys for...
Yes, to keep the man cave going, so to say, yeah. I mean, aren't you enjoying it the same way? I mean, now I'm sure people contact you saying like, hey, want to test our speakers, want to test this, In
the meantime, a bit. My channel's a lot smaller than yours, obviously, but that's a nice part. Yeah. But what I really enjoy is kind of the feedback from the community as well, because it gives... Basically, my playing with toys, my hobby, a deeper sense of purpose, because I try to make videos that other people, other enthusiasts like myself might find helpful.
Yeah, I totally. I mean, this is not the reason why I do the videos. I really do the videos because I'm interested in the content. But whenever I meet somebody telling me like, hey, I got whatever, I learned this technique from you, or I purchased this amp, microphone, speaker, whatever, and now I'm happy because I make better sounding music. That really makes me
very gratifying. Yes.
Exactly. So I had a few very romantic moments that really made me make me really happy. Like at NAMM or at Guitar Summit, when you meet those people, and you go like, "This is real." Because reading a comment on YouTube is one thing, but actually meeting people and with shiny eyes, you know, making people happy is.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what I used to do just on my own on the evenings. Like work's done, kids are in bed, I'll just play with my toys, and through, you know, circumstances, coincidences again, I just started filming it, putting a bit more effort into it, and other people might find it helpful as well, and that's just very gratifying.
Yeah, life's good.
Yeah. Speaking of it, the Karnivore, that's pretty much what everybody's waiting for. Of course, I myself as well, I'm very interested.
We'll send in one very soon.
Cool.
So looking forward to hearing what you can do with it.
I'm really excited for it. And, you know, I'm kind of in this niche, I've been for a few years. I don't remember any hype as big for any new guitar speaker like for the Karnivore. And obviously you've been involved in other product launches, you've been associated with like the Grindstein pedal, for example. But I didn't think that had as big of a buzz as the Karnivore has now. So how has that been for you? How have you been experiencing the vibe around the Karnivore?
It's hard to tell because I'm so much into this, but I gotta say I'm really honored. It was like 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago at NAMM 24, when the Eminence guys asked me if I wanted to do a signature speaker, and I was like, wait a minute, you only did one with Mick Thompson. I'm not like, you know, I'm not Mick Thompson. But they said like, you know, we want to do this with you because we feel that's a good combination and we could need your, oh, that's Henning's mother.
Das die Mutter muss.
Ja, ich hab's doch, ja, ist gut.
Wollt ihr mich nackig im Video?
Oh nee, oh nee. Bestimmt.
Schmählich im Video.
Ja.
Manchmal so. Nippel. Ganz eng und den Nippel.
Jetzt erblindet halt YouTube. Wenn es
We've been henninged.
So yeah, we've been henninged. So where did I stop? So the guys asked me to do. So I'm very honored that Eminence are doing a signature speaker with me, but we've done some IR packs together before that, and we have constantly been in touch, and it has been a wonderful experience. And for me, like just to be able to create, to voice a guitar speaker, how cool is that?
It's a cool opportunity.
I don't really care how successful it will be. I mean, I do care, but that's not the important point. I hope you will like it. I hope people will like it. But it was just a wonderful experience to turn an idea into a product like this.
I can't imagine not liking it based on what I've heard so far. You've posted sound clips, you've made the IR pack. I mean, everybody seems to be stoked about it, which is kind of cool. And you've already answered one of the other questions I had, like how did the corporation come to be? And they approached you actually. So
I would have never asked for this. Like, hey, you want to do a Kristian Kohle signature speaker? You know, I'm not famous enough for that. But they approached me, and they have been really, really cool. Like the people at Eminence, and we went through a lot of prototypes. They sent over a lot of prototypes to Europe.
80-something prototypes?
Yeah, it's not. It was 87 was the last one. They weren't actually 87 because some of them were like the same, and they had like several. But we went through a lot. I don't know how many exactly. We went through a lot, and then I traveled to Kentucky in January, minus 15 degrees, snowstorms, and spent another 3 days there, and that was great. I actually filmed a lot of that process, and that will also be another YouTube video. But it was basically me going there in the morning with an idea like, we need more 3K, or we need more higher frequencies. And then Jerry, the main engineer, would say like, okay, then we can try a different dust cap, or we try a different voice coil, or we try a different doping of the cone, or we try this. And then they built 4 speakers in the morning. Then we waited for them for the glue to dry.
No way.
And then the afternoon, I put them into a cab, shot them IRs, we talked about it, listened to it. Next day, went in again, built another 4 speakers based on what we heard the day before, and fine-tuned things.
So making IRs of those speakers would have been your main way of monitoring
them, yeah.
how they. Yeah.
Because it's difficult. Also, depending on where you put them in a 4x12.
Yeah.
That's also something I learned, how different it sounds if you put them, especially in a mesa cap, into the lower position. So I found out I have to put them in the upper position. That means I could always only compare 2 speakers at a time, unless you happen to have more mesa caps, which I did not in Kentucky. And and then it was just easier to shoot IRs, and then you can just go click, 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 go through them, which was also very new for the Eminence people, like in Kentucky. I think nobody has gone through that amount of detailed, nerdy, comparing before. I think nowhere, not at Celestion, not at Eminence, not at anywhere, just really digging deep into the details and comparing shit and all day. So that was cool. And until at some point I found out that the differences between the identical speakers became bigger than the differences, what I wanted to change. That's still the only thing I'm afraid of, because as you know, every single guitar speaker sounds different.
Yeah.
So I don't know how broad the variation will be in the final production. So let's...
Yeah, I see. So your design inputs you were putting in were kind of a smaller impact than the overall variances the speakers just have due to the nature of the beast.
Exactly. I think the final decision was which voice coil we would use. I don't know what that, like smaller or I don't know. There was some difference. And then we built 4 speakers, like 2 with voice coil A and 2 with voice coil B. And then one of these ones and one of those ones turned out to sound really cool, and the other ones did. And that was the point where I was like, okay,
we're going crazy here.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. This is like, and then because the main difference, as you know, comes from the cones, and that will just dictate certain things, especially in the higher frequencies. And this will be the same with the Karnivore, that there will be some Karnivores that sound better than others. So buy more Karnivores, that's what I'm saying. Better buy 15 Karnivores.
Yeah. Way to put a positive spin on that. That's a fantastic idea. Just buy more.
Buy more. And you get a good one.
I'm kind of happy to hear that you were working with IRs to just determine which ones you like, because that's kind of how I do it when I do speaker demos, just to find the sweet spots to my ears. I just make a few IR sweeps across the speaker, and then I monitor in my DAW back and forth, switching back and forth between my reference V30 IR and the various positions of the other speaker, just to find, okay, this sounds most pleasant to me compared to my reference.
You should get a Dynamount mic robot.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I kind of built a ghetto one, a manual one, out of a camera slider and a mic stand that I put. I put camera quick release plates and thread adapters on it, so I can just clip the microphones in and out.
That means at least you can like recall certain settings exactly, right? Yeah.
I just screwed a wooden board in between the slider with positions marked.
Nice.
I'll have to show you some photos. I'm embarrassingly proud of it, because
it's cool.
It's just a little ghetto
pirate,
contraption. My ghetto Dynamount. When Eminence pitched you the idea, did you go into the development with a specific idea of the sound already, or was it kind of iterative? Let's see what we got and what we can put together. So
I mean, at some point it got a little bit random because things just happened here and there. But I had a certain vision. I had like the idea of making a speaker that is what I call British voiced, and that is not too far from what we all like, the V30 kind of thing. But I wanted it to be less mid-rangey. I wanted to have what I call a little more dangerous low end. I wanted to have a little more aggressive grind without being harsh. That was the idea, which worked in the end, I guess. But on the way, things just happen because, you
learn as you go.
Yeah, like certain combinations of parameters you change suddenly do something unexpected. So you have the idea of adding more low end, and then you change the magnet, and then that magnet turns out to make things a little more scooped. And it's like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Why don't we? It's not doing what we wanted it to do, but it's doing something else that turns out to be cool. So but I think most speaker designs are things happen, you try stuff, and at some point it's like, hey.
That's nice. We're going to keep that. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And at some point we also found out, Eminence found out that the magnet that we wanted to use is no longer in production.
Oh, that's cool. So back to square one.
Then when we went back, I think we actually found something that turned out to be better. But just for, we were forced to do that, not because we chose to do. So it's a bit chaotic and a bit random. Yeah.
How long did the development take overall? Like, when did this start? You mentioned a NAM where you bumped into them. Did you mention the year? I'm sorry.
24. That's when we decided we were going to, and then we started in, I would say, give or take a year.
Yeah.
The whole development. And, but we had breaks in between. So basically they would ship me, 5 prototypes. Then I try them, listen to them, do some stuff with them, give them a feedback. Then we talk again, another week goes by, and then we decide what to do. And then maybe a month later, they ship the next batch of prototypes. And that's how it, step by step, moved forward. Probably, a year, roughly.
And then towards the end, it seems to have, the development process seems to have sped up with you going over there and everything.
Yeah.
Kind of
it was basically
close
just
to the finish line.
Just the higher frequencies. Things just sounded too dark for me when I went to Kentucky. So basically it was like, let's fix the higher mid-range and make it more brutal and more aggressive the way I like it. That was what we were trying to achieve in Kentucky. And that went pretty well. So when I left Kentucky, things were 99% done.
Cool.
Yeah.
How did you get them to make it red?
Yeah, I told them to.
Guitar speakers are such weird systems. What all plays into that? I mean, our friend Ignacio from Jensen told me that you can't just take a different type of magnet that has the same field strength. It just changes the way the speaker responds. So you have the magnets, you have the electronic side, the paper cones that vary wildly, as we know.
And then especially if you close mic it, it's a lens. So you really hear every detail that you wouldn't hear in a room. That just exaggerates everything. Even certain things that happen on paper, I couldn't hear them. So the first thing we were doing in Kentucky, they were building like prototypes, and the first thing we put them into an anechoic chamber to do a measurement. And they have this very old, I don't know, looks like Windows 95 computer or something, spitting out some kind of paper, with the frequency chart and stuff. And then we were looking at this going like, okay, this one looks like it should be brighter and this one should be whatever. And then you listen to it and it's like,
can't hear it.
After 5 minutes, like, okay, I'm going to ignore those charts. They don't matter.
So was it difficult finding the balance of listening to the speaker through a lens as a producer and then also striking the balance listening to it as a guitar player?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to make a speaker that only sounds good mic'd. You have it sound good in the room as well, I suppose.
Right. Yes, and that was a little conflict I had because I felt like the more low end and the more highs I had, the more fun it was to play, like both in a recorded but also in the room situation. I felt like this is fun, but I also knew I wasn't making it more mix ready by that. So, but at some point I felt like, okay, especially if you use high and low cut filters, I guess we all know what that means in the studio, you can tame that. And I found like giving that speaker a more extended frequency range is more fun to play. And in the studio, you can still tame that. So that was maybe 1 or 2 sleepless nights, but after that, I feel like we found a good compromise there, that it's a fun to play speaker, but also not difficult to record. I think if you put a SF57 there and play around with it a little bit in the usual positions, have a high and low cut filter ready to tame, the extreme frequencies.
Take note of that.
Yeah, that helps. And then that also gives you a little like wiggle room, to fine tune it to your taste a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, depends on every single speaker. Some need more of it, some need less of it, but that made it quite versatile. You see, I went through a lot of
thought process.
Yeah. And let's see how people like it or not, and let's see what happens.
I can't see this not being a success, to be honest.
Hopefully. But again, for me, it's all about the process of creating this, and I'm happy how it turned out. And now let's see if the world needs it or not.
I think that's a good note to end on. Thank you very much for taking the time for me. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
this a lot. And I'm
looking forward
to the Karnivore speaker.
Yeah.
To put it in my cab and see see what I can do with it.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks so much for watching and see you next time.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Een nippel. Een ganz eng und den Nippel.
Jetzt erblindet halb YouTube, wenn es.